Hi and good afternoon. My name is Brett Grossman. I'm a top leader within the financial services and insurance arena. And what I'd like to do for all of you here today is put together a topic which I believe is as important as any sales system within the insurance industry, which is opportunities in every sale. There's always going to be, other than soft closes or trial closes, warm up, building rapport, getting to know someone, there are other opportunities within every sales cycle for you to be able to refine your skills and get better at what it is that you're doing. Now, along with this is going to take time. It takes practice. The best way to practice is by doing. And so before I get into these different opportunities here, one of the things that I've learned over the years is there's a direct correlation between the amount of activity that you perform and your belief level. What I mean is, the higher level of activity, the higher your belief level in what it is that you're doing. Makes sense, right? The higher level of activity, the higher level of being able to persuade a client into understanding and believing what it is that you're doing. Higher levels of activity typically equal higher levels of self-esteem. Low levels of activity, low level of self-esteem. Low level of activity, belief level is low. Low level of activity, probably not going to be as persuasion. You're not going to be able to persuade as easily as you would with a higher level of activity. Make sense? And so there's always a direct correlation. And so my best advice before getting into the opportunities is to, go all in with what it is that you're doing. Now, for some, insurance might be, a side business or side hustle. Financial services, you might just have, taken, a test to get started. But one of the things that I really just want to hammer home here is when you get involved and go all in. Go all in with your belief level. Get behind your product or service. Get behind what it is that you're doing for the client. And you will see your activity levels rise higher, your appointments rise higher, your close ratio go up, and all together, right, your bank account's going to grow, your calendar's going to get full, all these great things. So there's a direct correlation there. So let's talk about some of the opportunities in every sale. Number one is you. And this is something that you should just be self-aware. Be aware of yourself. Be present in your current situation. Are you being authentic with who it is that you're talking with? Are you being genuine? Are you staying patient with yourself? These are some very key factors of self-awareness that you're going to need to know about yourself and how it is that you're speaking in a business or in a home. What does it sound like, the words that are coming out of your mouth? And if something doesn't sound right, stop it, take a second, take a deep breath, and get back to being an authentic and genuine individual, where you want to find out about the client. You want to find out different questions, right? Asking a series of questions in a sequence that are going to require a direct response. So you are the X factor. You are one of the number one opportunities in every sale for you to shine. What about the company? The company. Who is the client going into business with? Now, it's not something where you want to spend 10, 15 minutes talking all about a company. But for example, you could say something along the lines of, the company's been around for 150 years. They're an A-rated company by Standard & Poor's. They have several $billion in assets. They paid out a certain number of claims last year. If it's a company like for myself, I'll say my wife and I and my children all have our policies with this particular company. It's who we chose to go with. And so you want to make the client feel good about the company that they're going to be doing business with. What that's going to do is that's going to save you time from having to re-explain yourself if they were to, for example, do research or go onto Google and the company has an A+ rating, but there might be one distraught individual who canceled their policy and then went online and left a bad review. Well, human nature, for some reason, individuals are more inclined to look at the one bad thing as opposed to the 17,000 good things. So persuade and be able to have high belief level so that you make your client feel good about the company that they're doing business with. The product. Does the client understand what it is that you're speaking about? Are you educating them and keeping it simple? As an example, you could take literally, you could do this in less than 60 seconds. You could give them a tutorial and explain, which is what I like to do, the difference between term life. Term life products typically work when you pass away. There's a 10, a 15, 20, sometimes 25 and 30-year terms. About 98% of the term policies out there in America today, either the client outlives them or they never, or only 2% pay out. So as an example, right? So you can explain term as compared to whole life. Whole life works until the day that you pass away. It also accumulates cash value and dividends. Then there's living benefits life insurance. And living benefits life insurance is what I'm here to speak to you about here today, which is insurance that will pay out in the event of, and then you're going to explain, right? Critical injury, critical illness, chronic illness, terminal illness. And you can just very quickly just kind of go through and get them to explain the difference between the policies. There's return of premium policies. I'm not saying that you want to get all involved in universal life and IULs and return of premium, but you can, most people know term and whole life. So just to kind of keep it simple for them. Now, if your client cannot repeat back to you what it is that they're actually going to be buying, if they can't clearly articulate back to you that this is insurance that pays out in the event of something like, if they just said a heart attack, a stroke, or cancer, if I was to be in a major critical car accident, if I couldn't perform daily living, if they can't articulate that back to you, then you haven't done the job that you're supposed to. So you want to make sure that your client understands the product. Let's talk about logical. Not every product is going to be a good fit for every client. Some clients really enjoy the fact that they are going to be having living benefits insurance that works in the event of one of these illnesses. Other people have no interest in that, and they only have an interest in making sure, for example, their house is paid off. Their kids will be taken care of. Whatever their scenario is, right? They want to leave a specific trust to a family member. You know, what? Everyone has a different scenario, so you want to be able to customize the scenario. But one of the logical solutions for someone who, let's say, a lot of times we find clients who just say, you know what? I like something that's more permanent, and I want to be able to develop some sort of sideline account. What do I get back in return? I understand that in the event of a what if, the insurance company would pay me. But what do I get back at the end of the 20 years, at the end of the 30 years? What's in it for me, right? And so a cashback option, maybe to switch gears and go into maybe an index universal life product, which is a permanent product that develops tax-free cash value on the side. Or maybe it's a GUL product that gives the option of return of premium after a certain time period. After 15 or 20 or 25 years, they get a certain percentage back based on the longevity of the policy and how long it's been in place. And so these are going to be some good logical options so that you don't have to walk out of a home or business empty-handed. Then there's emotional. There's always going to be a time during the process for you to tell a story. Now, if you don't have your own personal story about a family member or your own personal story about your own specific circumstance, then there should always be a story of someone that you're working with within your organization. You know, we have an individual that we work with out of the Atlanta marketplace, and this individual had gone out to see a client. And when he went to see the client was in fantastic shape. He got a preferred rating. He had living benefits insurance. And about 2.5 months into having his policy in effect, he woke up one night at 3 in the morning and he went to the refrigerator to get a cup of water, and he had a massive stroke. Now, the insurance company went ahead and paid the claim out to the client. The agent was given the check to deliver to the client. When he went back, now almost 3 months after seeing this gentleman for the first time in fantastic health, the gentleman came to the door in a wheelchair, and the agent delivered him a check. And so that's a story, as an example, that can be told. If you don't have your own story, tell a story about someone else. Tell a story about another agent or someone that you're working with in your organization that maybe they have a personal story. But you have to make it emotional. You have to be able to paint the picture with your words. It can't just be all the facts. It can't just be about a company. And it can't just be about product or service or what the service does. There has to be some sort of emotional attachment, because really that's going to be where your sale is made. And then confidence. You want to have confidence in yourself. You want to be able to forgive yourself for your shortcomings, especially during your first year or two in the business. It's not always going to be perfect, and sometimes you're going to mess it up. But guess what? The numbers always work themselves out. If you're able to forgive yourself, if you're able to know that it's okay to make a mistake, it's okay if you didn't say things correctly, you'll be able to make up for it on the next appointment, and then the next appointment, and then the next appointment. And so have confidence in yourself to know that it's okay if it doesn't always come out perfect. In my experience, there's no such thing as the perfect business, or the perfect client, or the perfect product or solution, or the perfect this or the perfect that. There's going to be imperfections in everything you do. But don't beat yourself up about it. Be okay with it. Be genuine. Be authentic, and that'll make up for any shortcomings that you have. That'll get you through. And so I hope you found value in what you saw here today. And what I ask is, if you liked this training right here, share it out with your friends. Share it out with your coworkers. Share it out through YouTube. Share it out onto other social media sites. Let other agents be able to get value and see this type of training, that we've put together. Thank you so much, and have a great day.